Welcome back. And here we are touching base on the T.S. Eliot. I mean, you guys know that I am working with some of my very good scholarly group friends and professors and heavy intellectuals. We are coming up with some sort of research done extensively on the English literature, which we are capturing as snippets. And yeah, officially this is very very mm, engaging practice we are following, and day by day, if you frankly ask me, it's just not like working in a group on a poetry piece or on literature only. It's also about interacting with the fellow people, fellow professionals who are like completely groomed and completely polished in their field. And that's where, the curiosity and that engagement and involvement and all kicks in. And here I am like enjoying the most. I had never thought that English literature becomes such a fantastic experience when you are with the really well informed people, when you're really with the very well read people. It becomes quite a marvelous experience. I do miss my friend Anthony. Without him, I feel little lost in the sense, I was wondering, sometimes I feel like I need somebody to be backing me up. Otherwise, I can make my ways, I can navigate. But the thing is, I love to be growing in somebody's shadow, and he is one of that shadow. And hopefully, he will be back. I am recording this message because I know he will be watching this. So, here, coming back to the session. So, our session is little bit kind of very informal. We people might be heavy in our thoughts and heavy in our beings, but when it comes to expressing and when it comes to putting the things together, this is a sort of artistic circle we have. And today was we were back with T.S. Eliot. We were doing four quartets like from past session. So these four quartets are coming as kind of surprise to me as well. I mean, I might have gone through Eliot during my own literature days, but now when I'm going it with very informed and formed people, I'm finding it very interesting. I'm finding as if the new things are opening up, as if my thoughts are gaining more uh, weightage, more insight, and I'm like more excited. First time I'm feeling as if the power of the word lies in how you interpret it, how you just look at the word and you have this artistic capability to weave a theory, weave a story around it, and it works. I mean, I noticed that with the top poets, with the original authors, with the original writers, they have always worked on the word. They have always worked with the word. They have always gone through the language, completely crossed that edge, and came up with the crux. And they have put it in the words, they have put it in the stanzas, they have put it in the poems, they have put it in the verses. And I'm very, very kind of impressed that however far the references may go, the summaries may go, the biographies they have consulted to write that, the Christianity, the Dantes and the the higher sort of links they have put in their writing, the heavy thinking which has gone into their writing. One word deciphers it all. It is just like when people are sitting together and people are coming together from very different cultures. They may come up with very different theories, with very different stories that they can attach to the literature, and the literature becomes very enriched. Same thing I'm observing with the T.S. Eliot's poetry. So I was like little bit. I'm sorry to say that I never knew he had Buddhist connections. He was American who moved to English land and Britain. For me, Eliot was forever a kind of London cup painter. He would paint the city, and I would be very happy to read him. I mean, till date, I never saw his Wasteland as a kind of war poetry, or I never saw his Prelude as some sort of insight or any kind of reference to the war background or about the prufrock and all. I have no idea what I did with Eliot, but I was definitely in love with him. I mean, I may not have known him as a poet, but as a picture creator, as a kind of the visions that he could envision in me, that he could invoke in me of the London, of the whole thing, of the whole city. He is very precious to me from day one. So, we were pondering on the third quartet today, and it was very fantastic that, the poets, when they use the word, they tend to give the word a totally different meaning. I mean, we read the word indifference many times, we read the word detachment many times, we read the word uh, attachment many a times. But how many of us have ever thought about it in the war context and how he has beautifully said that? Let me quote his thing. Yeah. There are three conditions which often look alike, yet differ completely. I mean, see, you have to pay attention. Words, I have always been theorizing, I have always been telling the people when they quote me in writings, okay, what pretext is. You have to really be highly well versed with the etiquettes of language, with the etiquettes of the how the poet thinks or how the writer thinks, and you will get it bang right, trust me. But for that, you have to level up. There are three conditions which often look alike yet differ completely. Now, this is one contradiction that, the words how I interpret might not be the similar as how you will see them. The words you see them, maybe I don't mean that. So, in that context, every word is a separate entity, it's a totally different reference. Flourish in the same hedgerow. They may be living in the same book, they may be the same summary, they may be the same reference, but there might be the differences. Attachment to self. We people are all obsessed. I mean, I was also like, in the morning, I was thinking about things. You have to be attached to yourself. You have to be really batting for yourself. You don't have to put yourself exposed to the people, exposed to criticism or anything. You have to love yourself. You have to be a little bit considerate of what you want to do, how you want to enjoy a thing, how you want to do a certain thing, a pattern. For that, you have to love yourself. And to things and to persons. And I really kind of keep on thinking how the people cannot love each other. I mean, I fall in love very badly, and I cannot be unattached to the person. I mean, I fall in love with the people. I do. And it's beautiful to me because without love, I cannot operate. But yes, again, you see, detachment from self. Now, this is another state of being. Detachment from self and from things and from persons. Now, detachment, I argued, was something to do with Hindu way of looking at the things. We people go detached when we talk about detachment. For us, it's Bhagavad Gita's message. We don't feel too over involved in all that. Growing between them, indifference. Now, this is in between, this takes away the balance of everything. I can understand you're highly attached, you're kind of sattvic, right? You are detached. I think that is sattvic. No. Sattvic, tamas, rajas. Yeah, you're highly attached is rajas actually. Rajas, I'm talking about three qualities mentioned in Bhagavad. So you are rajas. Then you are highly detached. That's sattvic, you're balanced. In between, it's indifference, which is tamasic. I mean, Gita tells us to do the karma. We guys are told to go and fight. The Arjuna is said, go and fight a war. What for? Because it's his karma. He has to do it. And that's not detachment, but that is detachment. He's being told not to attach with the results. But that doesn't mean that he should be detached from the war. He has to bloody, read the the need of the hour and go and fight. My question was that what is this indifference doing in between? It's not balance. It's making as if something kind of superior, inferior, complex. What is it? So we pulled this thing out. We did a huge lot of dialogue. Maybe we spent 2 hours on this. I mean, one paragraph or maybe 2 stanzas. We have put 2 hours of work on this. And by now, when I look at it, for me, it's a balanced thing which has come out. And now I can understand, okay, there is a state of being in a war where people are highly attached, they are scared for their life. They're highly detached, they want to do it as a service. Maybe they're armed forces, maybe they're fighting for the country. There is indifference, I mean, whatever. It's just like, give me my daily bread and I'm okay with that. That's indifference. It's a bloody stupid stage to be in. So the whole poetry goes on and on. Another line which caught my attention was, history may be freedom, history may be servitude. So why this thing is there? Like, what is meant by servitude and what is meant by freedom? I mean, it was a sense of patrioticism. See, the live and the dead nettle, this is the use of memory for liberation, not less of love but expanding, of love beyond desire, and so liberation from the future as well as the past. Thus, love of a country begins as attachment to our own field of action. Yeah, I mean, what are these patriotic people are for? They have some self-interest also. They fall in love with something, whether idea or whether motherland. They have high interests. I mean, they are answering a higher call, let's say for example, and they're being paid for that. Yeah, this is their livelihood. They're not just doing it out of cause or purpose. So it's very balanced, it's very practical, it's required of them, and that's why we want them to do it. We ask them to do it for us, right? From the future as well as past, this love of our country begins as attachment to our own field of action and comes to find that action of little importance. We add our sentiments. Though never indifferent, we cannot be indifferent. I mean, if India goes for war and the army says we are indifferent, we will just fight. I mean, we are indifferent. No. We countrymen, we bat for them. The celebrities go on the border. The generals come and back up the soldiers' spirit. The CEOs walk and lead. And the Fauji ladies, they show solidarity by chipping in for work. I mean, whatever capacities, whatever contribution. So we guys are always there for them, to back them up. The country is there. So that's like what he's talking about. Though never indifferent, history may be servitude. If you do it well, if you win it, is servitude, is expected of you. History may be freedom. You may win. It may lead you to freedom. I mean, it would be liberation. See, now they vanish. You may die as well. The faces and places many people have fought where we stand today here is like a tribute to the soldiers, to the warriors, to the people who have fought for the cause, fought for the country, fought for anything that has brought humanity to a better place. With the self which, as it could love them, to become renewed, transfigured in another pattern. And that's the beauty of it. The revolution, the war, the wars, the fight for the change is meant for betterment. And I was surprised. This Eliot also spoke the language which most of the karmic theory is about. No wonder his Buddhist connections. So we will be exploring more. It's more like fun. It's more like learning. It's more like being with the people who you want to be with. Well, I take your leave till next week. Bye bye.